excited for my guest today. I'm just so excited. Like, okay, so I have to just say this because it's coming through right now. I decided to do this interview just simply as a way to put information out into the world that was around positivity and opportunity and love and hope and light and peace and collaboration and all things good in a time of, for many, not so good. And I declared that I was going to do a Facebook Live, an interview every weekday. So Monday through Friday, starting April 1st until April 30th. And today is April 30th. And so what I have decided, and I just decided to share this with you, but what I've decided is I'm going to continue doing these interviews, but I'm going to do them once a week. And starting on Monday with my guest for next week. So I'll have a guest next week, but today, no, I'll have one tomorrow too. My apologies. I don't even know what I'm doing. But today is the ending of what I originally declared, which was April 1st to April 30th. And I'm so excited about my next guest because we kind of just met where we run in the same circles. And I remember meeting her thinking, oh my gosh, like you're almost exactly like me. Like we have so many of the same the nuances in what we do and how we do it. So let me introduce her to you formally. Her name is Anna Kowalska. As a soul, purpose, and prosperity catalyst, a transformation mentor, and hand analyst, she guides women who feel imprisoned by their business out of there must be more to fulfillment, satisfaction, living their fullest potential on purpose and prosperously. I am so excited to have her with us, and I'm going to bring her in now. And I think it'll take like a couple, 3, 2, 1. Anna. Yeah. Hello, welcome. I'm so excited to have you.
Hi, Kristen. I'm so excited to be here.
And just to, I was looking at your picture because I promote the day before for whoever's on the following day. I was looking at your picture and I was like, we kind of look alike. Like I'm looking at you and I'm like, we have similar features. Are you Polish?
Yes.
Okay, I am a quarter Polish and a quarter Russian, so I have that it's
the
just
Eastern European thing.
It's so great. It's so great. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you. So excited.
Go ahead.
So to just keep playing with that, right? We travel in soul communities through lifetimes, right? So right now, more than ever before, I meet people and I'm like, we look alike, we sound alike, we have similar stories, we have similar ways we look at things. It's what's happening. Like our soul families are coming together.
Like something. I was just on Anna's summit. We'll talk about that later because it is a big project that you're working on. It's really super cool. But what I want you to do is the first thing that I ask my guests to do is really share who you are from the standpoint of the greatest gift that I want this series to be able to give to people is hearing stories of adversity, challenge, obstacle, and how you overcame or rose up through those. So what is maybe something that you want to share from your past, from your history that led you either here now or that is really like a remarkable breakthrough of rising through the ashes, the phoenix rising, that you can share with people?
Oh, wow. So I'll tell you two, okay?
Yep.
One that's coming up really to my awareness now because of where we are. I grew up in Poland and I was born in 75. So if anybody knows history, Poland in 75, early 80s, communism, solidarity. If you know anything about communist structure, it's government enforcing its rules. And then there was a state of war when I was almost 7 years old, which means, seemingly free country all of a sudden has army tanks and soldiers with machine guns and restrictions. And there is a lot of luck. I mean, within few years, I never even realized it until I dug deeper now, inflation of 1,500%. Like if you guys watching right now can even imagine an inflation of 1,500%.
Wow.
And then government devaluing money, and you couldn't buy things unless government gave you little coupons. So coupons weren't to save money. Coupons were you get a coupon for half a pound of sugar, kilogram, half a pound of sugar per household per month. You get one coupon for a bottle of vodka. You get a coupon for
priorities, people.
Totally.
I love it.
Totally, yeah. But it was like, that's how I grew up. So my formative years, like the time when I was still forming the opinion about the world, I grew up in that, right? And to me, that was normal because that's just what it was. Yeah. With everything happening right now, I am so digging flashbacks, and I'm clearing out things about the stories I've made up about the world back then. And I see what's happening here, and I see, you know, not that I'm into conspiracy theory, although I really like them, but it's being aware, right?
There's just a lot of similarities is what we'll say.
Yeah. Yes. So just being aware and being awake, you know, and really being discerning. So that was part of my life that was kind of left there. That's just what happened. I never really dug into until now, when I'm sort of in this environment where government tells you that you can't go anywhere, right? And in some places where people are getting arrested or reported by their neighbors for being out when they shouldn't be. Did you hear that?
No.
People are actually reporting each other. And I don't know how many cases, but I've heard of at least 2 where people are reporting each other to the police saying, hey, I know this person shouldn't be where they are right now. I don't know what happens from the law enforcement perspective, but I know that it's happening, right? So I am unlearning some of the ways of the world that I have taken on then, right? I came to America when I was 16 and a half, and I never knew, I was never aware of what it means to own a business. My parents worked jobs, and all of a sudden I was like, I want to be a business owner, but I still didn't know what it took. In my 20s, I was in a relationship where together we created a very prosperous life. We became millionaires almost overnight.
Wow.
And then this is where my second part of the story comes in. I just pushed it all away. Like a dream life, right? Very, very prosperous. I mean, great guy, 2 houses, portfolios, dogs and cars and all of that. I was about to get married in a castle, and I'm like, it's not happening.
You said no.
And I walked away. At the time, I didn't know why. It just wasn't fitting. I felt like it was completely off. Of course, I made up a whole bunch of stories. Hindsight, I knew that I was going to be imprisoned by the situation, not the person. Yeah. I was going to be imprisoned, right? So the story that I have about that is that I actually, in one very specific moment, felt the wings on my back tied by a rope. And I didn't know what it was, right? Until later on when I started to learn about, hey, we have wings, right? We are butterflies, right? So the way that so I walked away from all of that. And
how old were you? When was this?
I was 28 when that happened.
Yeah.
So Saturn return, if you're into that. I think Kali was visiting me at a time, you know, goddess Kali, because she burned up everything for me, right?
Wow. You can talk about that too.
I had no idea though. I was just like, this is not right. I'm not doing it. I'm done.
But you know,
can I
ask you this? Was it because I've had multiple interviews with people who say there's this crossroads, there's this you fork in the road that's like, if I go down this way, I can see that this is probably what will happen. But I just, for whatever reason, it checks all the boxes. I've got the money, I've got the status, I've got this, I've got that. All of the things that we are supposed to work towards, covet, where we're supposed to end up or be, that dictates our worth, and we're doing a good job, we're doing it right, we have all the stuff. So for one of my guests, it was one of her friends had died, was like the wake-up call. For you, are you saying that what was it for you? Was it the marriage? Like, I just can't do this.
Yeah, you know, I can't even say that it was like, this is what happened. So the moment when I knew, we were living in our last house together. It was like a $2 million house on a golf course, and we were having it renovated. And I was standing in the bathroom, and we were our master suite was going to be remodeled. I love how like I get so theatrical about it because now I look backwards and I'm like, what?
But here's what's great about that it is theatrical. Do you know what I mean? Like there is something about like we are all fed this notion of like we watch it out there in the world, we watch it on TV, we watch it with celebrities, like, and then we start to covet and think that that's it. And so it is dramatic, and I love that it's dramatic because that is a dramatic scene.
Yeah. And imagine now a girl from Poland, right? It's not that we were poor, but we weren't rich. Like I knew what it's like to ask for something and not be able to get it, you know? Mm-hmm. So because we have what we have or it's not available. Like I knew what it was like. Mm. So for me to all of a sudden be in America and live this life where it's like, we have a house designer, you know, and I just go shopping whenever I want to. And I fly to Florida just with my purse because I have a house filled up with everything I need there. Like, wow. That was like out of body experience. And it felt right for me for many reasons, which I can definitely talk about. But something was so terribly off. So yeah, it is dramatic. It's like I have this life. I mean, when my parents asked me if I wanted to come to America at 14 years old, I said, well, 90210 just came out. So I could come to America and, you know, have a boyfriend like, what was Luke Perry? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know his fake name.
Totally.
Dylan, was it like a Dylan or somebody? Something?
Dylan, right? Yeah, let's just say that. Yeah. Okay. And Dynasty was popular. So, you know, hello.
I love to hear from my era. I'm older than you. Right? You're right there. Dynasty and you know, okay.
Right? Yeah, and MTV, and I'm like, this is a life. Yeah, let's go to America. Totally. Mm-hmm. I'll leave everything behind. So I tell this story because, I mean, you're 14 years old. By the time we came here, I was 16. But, you know, you come with this like, America, you know? Yes. So, and I was all of a sudden living in this picture that I one day imagined that like, this is what America is. It took me a few years to get there, but, you know, 12 years, but I got there. And all of a sudden I'm like, this is so not it. Like, I am about to imprison myself. And so my then fiance was handing me a toothbrush, right? I don't know. Am I freezing? Can you still hear me?
Audio is still working. It happens. Okay. Happened to me for the last 3 or 4 interviews, so just roll with it. If I can't hear you, then I'll text you or something, but you're good.
Okay, sounds great. Okay. So it was Monday morning and we woke up and we're like, oh my God, our master suite is getting remodeled today and we have not done anything to clean it up. So we ran to the bathroom and we start cleaning out our personal stuff, and my then fiance hands me a toothbrush. And I don't know what it was about this toothbrush, but he handed it to me, and that's when I felt this tightness on my back. And I literally, like, now I know, I felt the strings of rope tying something on my back. I had no idea what to call it. But in that moment, I really knew, I'm like, I cannot go through with this.
Wow.
Whatever this is that's about to happen in my life, I cannot go through with this.
Wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't anybody's death. It wasn't anything that, like, it really was a moment where I was just like, oh my gosh. And now I know my soul was speaking to me.
Completely.
Yeah. So how did I get through it? I drank a lot of alcohol.
Honest answer. Common response. Yeah. So so you have this like epiphany, this realization, this soul nudge, and you paid attention to it.
Yeah.
And you said, I can't go through with it. And then dealt with the fallout, because I'm sure there was fallout.
Heck yeah. My whole entire life had to change. I was part of a business that I no longer was a part of. I had to leave the house, right? I mean, I'm leaving the relationship, the dogs and everything, my social life, everything. And I had no idea who I was, like a complete change of identity, right? So yet I was still in the same industry, so still around the same people. But I mean, it was such, I have no idea why nobody told me at the time, hey, you know, maybe you can seek out some support. Like maybe you should talk to somebody. Maybe it's like a divorce and you should talk to somebody about it, right? So I drank for a few years and then my body started telling me this is not going to work long term, so you got to do something. And that's really when I can say the first time I became aware of like awakening. through my body, which is I relate so much to the fitness part that you spoke about, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because I started to run. All of a sudden, I went to the gym and I started to run, and I'm like, wow. And through my body, I started to awaken to spirituality and yoga and meditation. And it just went on and on from there. But it was through first numbing out and then my body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say is in that moment, you could see and sense. I think I talk about this a lot. I have a friend who is she's a mentor. She's a very good friend of mine and a mentor, spiritual mentor. And she says they're soul crumbs. We talk about breadcrumbs. So they're soul crumbs, and I call them nudges. And like first nudge and then second nudge, and they're always there. We're just usually, and when we're not awakened and when we're not connected to it, we don't pay attention, or we, I'm not going to deal with that right now. I can only imagine how complicated it was for you to end that with all of the just physical assets, just physical stuff that you had to be like extricated from.
Yeah. And I think it's so important to talk about right now. And I went through bankruptcy a few years later because I tried to figure it out on my own. I'm like, I can have it all back all by myself. And then I made several mistakes. And I talk about it openly now because of where we are. Like people are losing jobs. And it's, economically and physically, not for everybody, but there will be a fallout from what's going on, right? There will be. I'm a huge believer systems are falling down. Like systems are crumbling, and I don't mind speaking about it, right? And this is not from a place of fear, but from a place of we get to create something else.
100%. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I don't mind sharing my story because any aspects of it, because there were parts of me that learned how to now I really have no conversation around what happens to my business.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen to my business? I don't have that conversation. I know that I am a creator.
Yeah.
So I will always create something.
Right. What a gift.
Right?
What a gift to be able to have. That's just a gift to know that we're creators, that the power lies with us. There's nothing special about you or I. We are not creators, and people listening are not creators. You're creating. You just are unconscious to it. So so from there, where did that lead you? So interested.
Which part?
I don't know. So you ended you bankruptcy, and then what? And then Hand Analyst. Was that next?
Hand Analyst took a little while longer. So I ended up in bankruptcy because I was going to build on my own, right? So I started to build, and I amassed some money, and then I went and I bought dirt in North Carolina to actually build properties because we made our money in real estate. So I was now very familiar with the world of real estate and mortgages, and I was going to build, but it was right before 2008 happened.
Yeah,
I was fully participating in 3 bubbles in economy. 3 times I was burned by the dot-com bubble, the mortgage bubble. Yeah, so
you have an interesting relationship.
I'm like, okay, I do totally, right? So I invested a ton of money with a friend who then lost money because of what happened. So I had to claim bankruptcy because I invested money in dirt, and then I kept asking God, universe, source, what the heck? Like, what the heck? I know I'm smart. I'm not stupid. I'm not the smartest apple in a bunch, but however that saying goes. But I know I'm not stupid. Like, what gives, right? Like, what gives? I could make anything work. I wanted to live in Manhattan. I live in Manhattan. At a time, I got this amazing job. It was one of the last jobs I ever had, but it was already freelancing. Like I was repping a software company and doing exactly what I wanted to do, and like working with the kind of people I wanted to work with. And it just burst. And I'm like, what the heck? I can create anything. If I didn't even know manifesting existed in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But anything I wanted to create, it just happened. But then it would burst. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
What the, right? So part of my journey was through when I started to exercise, I learned that I didn't know how to feed myself. I'm like, I don't know how to, like, I know how to eat, but I'm exercising now. And I'm realizing that some ways that I was nourishing my body wasn't proper. It just doesn't feel good. Plus, I was hitting 30, so things change, right?
Yeah.
So I went to school to learn holistic nutrition.
Uh-huh.
And that was my first step into coaching. So now I'm in the coaching world, and I'm learning about spirituality, awakening. I'm hearing voices. I am pursuing that path, but it's still not okay to be that in other aspects of my life.
Yeah.
So I'm still having a very practical way of earning money, right?
You're in the
and
closet.
then again,
We call that.
what gives?
Yeah.
Totally in the closet. And so there are a couple moments I actually shared on a series. It was one very pivotal moment when I knew I couldn't hide anymore. But the way that the hand analysis came into my world is, my friend said, Anna, you keep banging your head against the wall and I see it. Why don't you try this hand analysis thing? And I'm like, Because when I broke off that engagement the years before, I went crazy to every psychic, tea leaf, horoscope reader. You imagine. Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to know what my future would look like, because all of a sudden I was lost. I'm like, there is no future.
Right. Okay.
Right. So I went seeking for answers from the outside. For 6 months, I spent so much time and money. And I said that, and then I realized that I was being fed things that are perspectives of parts of me, but I am still listening to the outside instead of inside. So I stopped. So when my friend said, hey, have your hands analyzed? I'm like, no way. Not happening. But I did, because there was a scientific part to it. And when I had my hands analyzed, I had the skies open moment where, skies open, angels sing over my head. The things that were reflected back to me by the woman who did my analysis, Denise D, things that she was able to tell me about me. And this is not facts like, hey, when you were 16, you came to America, or, you almost got married. No, these were things about who I am. That I'm super creative. I used to walk around and say, I'm an artist, but I don't know what kind. I have not dabbled in creativity or artistic expression at all. But I did have an artist name. Why? Like, one time I said, if I ever were an artist, my name would be Hannah Lang. Like, right?
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Your soul knows, and your soul tells you, right? That was my soul telling me, hey, there is a part of you you are not expressing. So when I had my hands analyzed, parts of me that I was even hiding from myself but knew were true, this woman reflected back to me. And ways that I operated in a world that none of the personality tests or horoscopes, and I believe, and they're all great, but nothing ever described me the way that my hands did.
So when you say hand, you mean like the analysis of your palm or handwriting?
So no, it's the analysis of your palms.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a study of the lines in your hands, the shape of your hands, the shape of your fingers, and your fingerprints.
Wow.
All of it says something about you. That is very unique, right? That is very unique to who you are. And every single thing on your hands can change except for fingerprints. Your fingerprints are created in a utero between like week 7 to 13. So literally you're a tiny little peanut, and I think you're like this big, right? And none of the other things are formed, but your fingerprints, you already have little tiny fingers, and your fingerprints are already formed.
Wow.
They never change. Nobody else has the same print patterns as you. Nobody. And I know it because I was fingerprinted when I was coming to this country, right? Like, I know government uses fingerprints to identify people. And that was one of the things that sold me on having my hands analyzed. Mm-hmm. Your soul gives a message to this body you are entering into to say, hey, human, this is the experience you are signing up for.
Through your hands?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is getting good. Keep going. Yeah.
Right? Literally, and I've read it in several different sources. They say the soul enters the body around the same time as the fingerprints form.
Wow.
Isn't it just like goosebumpy?
Yeah.
And I don't know this for sure yet. However, because I haven't done a deep study. However, I have heard that people have found fingerprints do disappear within days of our death.
Really?
I don't have a proof.
Okay, that is going to be the first thing I Google when we get done. I'm not even kidding, because that's what I do. I'm like, do fingerprints, I will do it.
Yeah. So you'll find information, but I don't know how scientific that is. Okay. So I know about the fingerprints forming. I know that's been scientifically proven, but I don't know about the fingerprints disappearing. So go ahead and Google it.
Okay, right? so you had your whole hand analyzed, and it was like light bulbs. It was like, oh my gosh, this is really accurate.
And it was, the first reaction wasn't even light bulbs. I literally broke down. I was sobbing. I couldn't speak. And she heard me sob, and she goes, "It's okay, I'm here. Don't worry." Because I painted a picture. When she asked me a question, I painted a picture. She goes, "Well, that's your life." And I'm like, "But how?" And then she started to get into the details, right? And she started telling me things that I'm like, "That's exactly who I always know I have been, but not really presenting that way to the world." Right? So from then on, I still do, I follow my hands. I follow my hands, right? What my fingerprints tell me about my soul purpose, which isn't a thing, it's a way of being. So in my work, purpose isn't a thing we do. It's a way we are in the world. And then we get to choose the expression that allows us to be that.
Woo, I love that. Whew. Okay.
Isn't it freeing?
I feel like I need popcorn. I'm not even kidding. I like this. I'm gonna like lay back a little bit and just sit here and just go, like I'm not kidding. That's my experience right now. I feel like keep going.
I love it. Isn't it so freeing? Like if we stop looking at like this is my purpose to do this, right? Like my purpose is to be, in a box, some kind of a label. What if your life has not set you up, your environment, your experiences, your choices have not set you up to be that, right? To do that. Does it mean you are doomed for the rest of your life? You'll never be expressed, right? Not at all. You actually now get to choose, having what you have, all the experiences, all the choices, where you are in life. You now learn that there is a certain way you came here to be. What are you going to do with that? How are you going to step into being that? And now what is it going to mean to everything in your life? So I spoke to a wonderful woman yesterday who has been, since 4 years old, living her life against who she is. And she has a story about, I'm shy, I'm reserved, and I'm not giving her name. So I'm shy, I'm reserved. Meanwhile, I look at her hands and she is here to be passionately, not just creative, but innovative. So she is like as outside of the box as one could ever be. This is who she came here to be. Wow. Woman ahead of the time, outside of the box. Innovator, creates something that's never been done before, right?
Yeah.
Learns the rules just enough to break them. And then
was it you and I that were talking yesterday? I'm kidding. I hate rules. I'm like, rules? What? Yes, keep going. Okay. I'm loving this.
Right? Yeah. Right? But she has a certain life she's living right now, right? There are consequences for making decisions. When I walked away from my almost marriage, there were consequences. There were people that were affected. Yeah. But there were no children, which I know is a huge factor, and she has children. So now what does she do? What is she to do with that? Well, she can actually start implementing being a certain way in the life that she's living, and then let that guide her into making new choices, right? Some people will burn it all down. Like I did,
walk
right?
away, just complete destruction, start over. Yeah.
But for some people, that's not an option. And I get that, right? I think it's always an option, but it's not, for some people, it's not the best option.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So everything on your hands can change, right? But fingerprints. So we talked about purpose. There is also this thing called life lesson. In hand analysis, it's the blind spot. It's the thing your soul is wanted to learn about. What is it like to have a life lesson of guilt, where every single thing you try, whenever you try to be yourself, you will be smacked by guilt. And that's your life lesson, right? I mean, there are layers of it. I'm just really minimizing it to one word. Imagine that you learn that. So next time you feel guilty, you can just say, oh, that's my life lesson. This doesn't really mean anything. There is something for me here to see and grow through, right? I am getting closer to being who I truly am. If I feel guilty, I just have to shift that story, see what's hiding underneath it, and keep moving forward. Imagine knowing that.
It's powerful. It's really powerful.
Right?
So what you do now is, and I wanted to pop up your title, Soul Purpose and Prosperity Catalyst. So how did you go from hand? I mean, it's very soul purposey.
Yeah. It's very soul purposey. So how did I go to that? No matter what I created in my life, one of my biggest questions always was, who am I? Who am I? What is that one thing that's going to really make me want to get up in the morning, right? I mean, I lived on Upper East Manhattan, in a beautiful apartment. I did what I loved to do at the time, right? And I still didn't feel good about it, right? I mean, I walked away from a dream life on North Shore, Long Island, right? So the constant question was always, who am I? And it wasn't who am I here to be? It was, what am I here for? What am I here for? What am I here for? Yeah. Right? And I kept jumping from different jobs when I was in my teens and 20s, and then different businesses, and then different expressions of my business, right? So different niches. But it was this constant searching for this one thing that's going to give me this, I'm going to wake up and I know exactly what my North Star is, what I'm here for today, right? And when it was revealed to me through my hand analysis, all my decisions now run through that. So part of the gift, there are these gift markings in hands. I mean, I could talk about hand analysis for hours. So stop me.
We really have to do that someday.
Totally. So one of my gift markings is helping people through the stages of their life when they look for the meaning, right? It's confirmed in my gene keys and my human design. I'm here to help people point them in the right direction.
Yeah.
Right? Money has been part of my story, right? And as I already shared, right? Money has been part of my story big time. When I entered the coaching, I found a coach who did this work around the energy of money. And I'm like, what? There is energy to money? Are you kidding me? So I dove down that rabbit hole. And the deeper I went, the more I realized that money is a tool to help us be who we came here to be. It's here to support us being our best. So when we start stepping into who we are and being in demand of being supported, money just shows up, because money now, if you personify it, wants to be part of the game we're playing, right? So when I started to play with the purpose, I'm like, one of the reasons why people don't step into who they are is because they have all these stories about what I have to do and be for money.
Okay, let me hear. This is what I'm hearing you say. So we really put money at the forefront in our culture. We put money at the forefront. I've been thinking about Sweden. In Sweden, there are no doctors aren't paid more than postal workers. And and so everyone's the same. So ultimately you choose the thing that chooses you. You choose the thing that calls to you. So let's just play this out. So in our culture, go to school, get the degree, choose a degree that's going to be what? I can get a good job, stable, benefits, a good opportunity to make a lot of money. So we choose based on money. We don't choose, we're not choosing based on soul, spirit, calling, purpose.
Yeah.
We have it
now
first.
Yeah, we do. And that's over. Like, that's done.
Yes,
people
it is.
Who don't get it is like people who don't get that that's done.
It's probably going to be a hard road. That's what I'm guessing. It's going to just be and it is a hard road regardless, because here's what I heard you say. You have had money multiple times, lots and lots of it multiple times, and still were like, but there's something missing. Like thinking, well, if I have the money, if I do this, if I have the things, great, I'm going to feel really good. And I'm sure temporarily that happens. And then you wake up in the morning and you go, really? Like, and there's a nudge that your soul is saying, this is not it.
Yeah, totally. And I think, so let's go into collective now, right? Into like my interpretation of what's happening.
Please, you're asking the question before I answer it. So I appreciate you making my job easier.
Because we're like this. And you know this, like I know, like we talked about this, right? That choice is no longer available for us to choose. That choice is no longer available because either, and I mean it with love and I mean it with so much compassion, the choice that exists right now, we either choose the soul or I don't know.
Ah. Wow.
Like I don't know what that other part looks like, right? Like, so in this other interpretation a couple years ago, and I laugh about this, we were talking in spiritual circles about new earth, new world, right? And I laugh, I'm like, we probably thought that we would grow wings, float up. Certain people who are buying into this, right, idea would float up and sprinkle fairy dust, and other people would come up and everybody else would just stay and whatever, right? But instead we got the virus, which is the burning down of everything. It's not this beautiful fairy tale story of how we birth new earth through us, right? Of like fairy tale and wings. It's, though I truly believe those of us who have done the work, right? Like you and all the guests that you have on the show, we are paving the way and birthing this new frequency through us so other people can see, hey, there is another way. I don't have to suffer. I don't have to be broken down by what's going on. I don't have to be taken by the system. I don't have to give into the story of lack and fear and suffering. I choose the suffering of rebirthing myself into a soul in a human body.
Ooh, I choose the suffering of rebirthing myself as a soul into a human body. That's brilliant.
Write it down. I don't know where it came from.
I don't know. I recounted it and we've got it on recording.
There you go. Perfect.
Wow. Okay. So I love that you say this. You can choose the soul or I don't know what's next. Like, I don't know what your other option is. So what you're saying is we no longer can choose to follow, to chase, to covet the money, the things, the material. God, I see this so clearly. This conversation is like, you're articulating this in such a way that I've like had in here, and the words are like, you're putting the words to it. And I'm like, yes.
Just get chills.
I know. Just walk around with just bumpy skin all the time. Yeah. So you can choose soul, or I don't know what your other option is.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Okay, so then here's a question for you. There will be people, and I know this, and I know you know this, who will stick to be attached to the old way, and there will be what I'm sensing is there will be a division. It will be divided. It already is divided, but the old mechanisms, the old systems want to stay around. They're based in a lot of.
They're fighting to survive. Yeah.
So people can choose that.
Yeah.
What you're saying is it won't survive.
Yeah. I mean, if if I stand for what I believe, and this is my belief, right? I choose to see things this way. And I'm very open-minded. My mind is open channel in human design, right? Like I'm very open-minded. But what I'm choosing right now is to stand for if enough of us buy into this new paradigm that we are birthing a new earth. We are birthing a new way of being a human. Collaboration, co-creation, harmony, unity, right? Every single human being and sentient being is respected for why they were birthed, right? Purpose, right? And they play a role and it's respected. And however it plays out with money, I grew up in a socialist country, so I'm not necessarily for everybody gets paid the same.
I
because
get
I
it.
know what that looks like.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it looks in a recompensation, but what if everybody got paid based on what they believe that they can get, right? The self-worth conversation, right? Like what if that's the new earth? Like all of that. Like if enough of us can stand behind it and vibrate with that frequency, those old systems cannot survive because they only survive because people buy into them, right? So yeah, by nature of that, those old systems will. I mean, a tiny group of people cannot sustain it. They may go underground or something. I don't know.
Wow. No, I know. I get it. I get it. It is the, like I said, it's the holding on. It's the holding on. It's the ego mind. It's the safety. It's the security. It's the known. It's all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a perceived safety and security. Perceived safety and security.
Well, if this situation, what I call this time is the situation we find ourselves in. This is the situation we find ourselves in.
Yeah.
If this situation hasn't proven that no one is secure, there is no out there. There just isn't. There is no, all of it could go away. Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to where I grew up, right? There was a moment when government printed out a ton of money, and I'm totally simplifying it, right? You had a ton of money in a bank account, nothing to buy because people bought out everything and, stocked up on stuff and there was no production and all of that, right? What? People do?
Right, what?
And then overnight, government said, whoa, what's going on? So there was a deflation. So you woke up and your money was worth a fraction of what it was when you were falling asleep. So I love when people say, prepare. And I love when people tell me, I was smart with my money and I have money in the right places. And I call yes on that because I don't know what if none of that really matters in the new world anymore? Then you are not prepared, right? We really have to start looking at it that way. What if the only way that we get to prepare is by aligning with who we are, opening our hearts, getting tools to thrive together, right? Which is why I love doing summits because it's such a collaborative. Such a collaborative. Like if people really get it, it's a true 100% collaboration, co-creation, and that's the place that I do it from, right? So I love it because to me that shows the new paradigm.
Yes, so that is exactly what it is. And there's a currency, and I believe the true currency really is us. I mean, our true currency is our truth, is our soul, is who we're here, right, to manifest as. It's so crazy because it's so obvious to me. And it's funny because something you said earlier, the words you said, and I'm going to try and remember them, are the same words that came out of my mouth. So in my time was college. I think I may have talked about this on your interview series, was graduated college. I was like, okay, I'm smart. I did really well in school. I was street smart and I was book smart. And I was like, I am not going down that path. And it was corporate path. It was go work in a job for the 40 or 50 hours and do the things and sit in the cubicle. And I was like, I don't know why. And I don't know what else, but I know it's not that. All of me was like, with all of my being, and didn't know it until retrospect. Like, didn't know why. Like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? I know I'm smart. I know I'm this. I know I'm capable. I know I'm insightful. I know there's this piece that I don't know, that I don't have the puzzle. I don't have the piece to this part of this puzzle, but I know that it doesn't go. I know this piece of the puzzle doesn't go there. 100% sure about that. Don't know much else. Right. So there is that, like, so there, what I'm hearing is like, there's the sense of us learning to trust ourselves, learning to trust within, learning to trust that small voice. And sometimes it will be, there's no way in hell I'll do that. Like, there's no way in hell I will go there.
Yeah.
And then we don't know what else, like you said, like, I know you got the soul, you can choose this. I don't know what else there will be for you to choose. I love that. Oh, I love that. So this is my question, and I've been asking this to a big majority of the people I've been talking to on this series is, what do we do when there's us, the new earth, the soul currency? We're creating a new paradigm. We're investing in that. We're collaborating. We're doing all of the things, because that is what's happening. That's exactly where I'm going. I know it's where you're going. It's already happened. It's already done. And then there's the old, like, what do you see? How do you see this going down? Because I mean, who knows? Nobody knows how it's going to go down. The old and the new.
Yeah.
What's your take?
So when I was growing up, because that's what I'm being shown right now, right? Talk about that part, right? So literally 3 days ago, I spoke to a man who contacted me to work with me. And he's Polish. He's in his 60s. I get a lot of older people contacting me to work with me, which is a lot of fun.
Because they're at that point in their life where they're like, holy shit, I've been doing it wrong this whole time. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. So he was Polish and he lived in Poland. So he's a little bit older than me. So he lived in Poland and he was an adult at a time when, the solidarity and solidarity was a movement against the suppression and against the regime, right? So when I got off the phone with him, and this is the first time I talked to anybody that I never met about that. And he had a story about it and how he had to fly and he was an artist and all of that, right? So I was prompted to look up pictures, Google pictures of that time in Poland. And as I was looking at pictures, I'm like, wow, I know I lived sheltered from a lot what happened, like the violence, the physical pushback, the resistance. I lived a little sheltered from that. It was happening. I was young, right?
Right.
And the town we lived in also, it was easier for us to be sheltered from it. But we had a family still in the city where I grew up, and so I was still present to it. My two uncles were on the opposite sides of right. So, and I'm just being shown that to bring it up as what's going to happen. I don't know, and I don't know why, but I'm being shown that there is already division happening in the world, right? So much division in our country, in this country alone, because I'm an American now, right? Part of me is Polish, but I'm an American.
Yes.
There is so much division. It's going to take a tremendous amount of compassion for everybody who is choosing different. Tremendous amount of compassion. And now solidarity did win. And it won by the way of church. So I'm not pro-church or religion, I'm spiritual. But guess what? There is a spiritual aspect to that, right? So I don't know physically what's going to happen, but I know that in my design, I'm here to be a unity, right? Masculine, feminine, I'm here to lead to unity. So all I keep envisioning is that people have a choice. Every single person has a choice, always, right? But all I keep envisioning is that however this choice plays out, there is unity. Will some people literally perish because of what's going on? It may be. I mean, some people may not be able to handle what's about to happen because we think this is not comfortable.
That's what
right. And this is not about doom and gloom or like fear, but this is like, if we're going to
conflict. It's conflict completely.
It is, yeah. And if systems are to disappear, they're going to fall down, and they're not going to fall down easy. So all I keep asking for, praying for, is that people awaken to the unity within themselves
Mm.
and then live it on the outside as much as possible. I just interviewed a guest for the series about forgiveness, doing a lot of self-forgiveness and forgiveness of another.
Powerful.
Right?
Yes.
And compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look out into the world, compassion is so lacking. And I say that actually owning that compassion for me has been challenging. It really has. And I could go down such a road with this, but I can see for myself that I get to start to really flex the compassion muscle.
Yeah.
You know, that especially as someone who's on this side of the situation we find ourselves in.
Yeah, because don't you want just from your whole entire heart, body, and soul to take somebody over their head and say, "Can you just see the other side?"
Right, 100%, 100%. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
But,
and that's in yeah.
yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
No, I was just going to say, and that's what's coming, and that is
Yeah.
what's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done. I think you and I've done a lot of the same work. I think one of the greatest lessons I've learned, because I'm recovering controller, is surrender. I mean, it's my tattoo.
Oh, I love it.
It says surrender, because that is, that's one of the things that I've gotten in the last few years is really like trust, surrender, let go. And then I think compassion is probably like, what a great layer, right? Like I'm trusting so deeply. I mean, Anna, like so deeply trusting in myself, big S, divine self.
Yeah.
And I know without a shadow of doubt, and this is very new. Faith is new for me. Trust is new for me. New as like in the last year.
Wow.
And diving head first into it. I mean, head, full body, right? Like full body into it. So that there's just such a great, I can see how what I've gotten has contributed to what I get to give.
I'm going to challenge you on that.
Let me have it.
If you didn't have faith and trust, you would have chosen the easier way back when.
Well, I can say that you're right. You're absolutely right. I would say a level that came less from here and more from here. Like really knowing myself without proof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Without evidence. Right? Yeah. Like without evidence. Like I have been show me proof. Like I don't and that's what I'm saying. So this next level of trust and faith. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up. Oh my gosh, really?
What?
I swear. Oh my God, I'm not kidding. We're gonna run out. We're gonna go over, but whatever. Okay, I have 2 more questions for you. What? Maybe 3. Yeah. Okay. How do you like to have fun, infuse humor, wit into your life? What's your mechanism for fun, bringing lightness to your life?
I make silly jokes.
Oh, you do?
Totally. I make funny voices.
You do?
Yeah. Didn't you hear me talk to my dog?
I just heard it like in the background. What was do the voice?
I don't know if I can right now.
Come on,
but
pretend no one's watching. No one's watching. Turn your camera off. You can't. No, you can't see yourself.
If it comes through, I will do that.
Okay.
I can't. Like it just happened, you know. Yeah.
And then,
and then just like silly jokes. Like I literally. Okay, so we're walking down the path with my dog the other day, my partner and I, and my partner says to me, I had to clean sap from Mikey. Mikey's my dog, from Mikey's paws. And I'm like, oh, Mikey, you're such a sappy little dog.
Yeah.
Sappy dog, get it?
Yeah. Yes. I love it.
And then I laugh at it.
You laugh at your own jokes. See, those are the best kind of jokes. Because who cares at that point? Like, who cares if it brings you joy? Like, that's me. That's me. I will. Well, here's what it's. I love that you said that, because here's the thing that we do in my family. Not every one of us. Me and my 2 girls. We do accents.
Do you really? Do tell.
We do British accents, and my youngest daughter is like unbelievably good at doing a British accent. And then my oldest is, she's really good. I'm good, but I can fall out of it pretty quick. If we're talking, if I'm like talking with them, if I do it myself, it's pretty choppy. But then we'll do like Western, like, hey, how y'all doing? We do these weird, funny skits on Snapchat. We do these funny, just goofy, like that's me. Like, I love it. My husband is like this in the background.
Not my family right now.
I'm not doing that. I'm uncomfortable. You can't make me. I'm like, it's okay. Okay. I have two that I get to do it with. So I love that. Okay. Second question of 3, because your last one's going to just be to tell people about your free gift. Last question, last like really formal question is, what's the meaning of life?
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Meaning of life. So I'm going to tell you the perspective that I have through the work that I do. Okay. It really is it's actually coming through as my truth right now. It really is to know how freaking amazing we are. How powerful, how brilliant, how capable we are. How connected we are. That's the meaning of life. Keep stretching ourselves, challenging status quo, challenging anything any like edge or tightness, challenging like where am I resisting here? How much, what else am I capable of? And taking steps, not necessarily to save the world, but what if I keep taking steps to keep stretching myself to just be better in the area that I'm in right now, and then make it bigger and make it bigger. And the meaning of life is to find out, to realize, to really experience how freaking unbelievable we are, the miracles that we are.
I love that answer. Thank you for getting me misty. That is Carol Fitzgerald said, Anna, I love you so much. She just posted that in the chat. She's like watching like these videos, like a lot of these interviews. Like I had Mary Carol on last week, and so her mom Carol has been commenting. I love your answer. I love your answer. I love I love the reaction that you got physically from the answer, because really if we really understood our divinity, our sovereignty, our power, the abundance that is our birthright, it would bring you to tears. It would literally bring you to tears. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
that was beautiful.
You were so welcome. Yeah, and it was through me. I can't even claim it. It was through me. So Of course. Okay, let's talk about your free gift as we wrap up. And I don't even want to wrap up. I don't know what I'm going to go Google whatever the thing I was going to go Google. I'll remember. Hand the fingerprints disappearing.
Your fingerprints when you die.
Yeah.
Your free gift. Tell people about it.
So my free gift, there are 2 parts of it. Okay. First one, there is a link to see a masterclass, Purposeful to From Uncertainty to Purposeful. It's great. Go watch it. But I'm also launching this amazing series, and you are a guest on it. Yes. Yeah, it's going live on May 14th. You can start signing up on Monday the 4th, May 4th. It's Sacred Success Salon, how to lead and thrive as an awakened leader through uncertain times. And we have 44 experts coming together from so many different walks of life. I mean, everything from like human trafficking. I'm interviewing a woman about human trafficking and the role it's played in our old paradigm.
I just found out about this whole thing.
Yeah, like crazy, and I'm so excited. So everything from 5th dimension to we're talking about money, we're talking about body, and it's I get chills with every conversation.
I love it.
And of course you are one of the amazing guests. So yes, I'm inviting everybody to join us there because it's going to be a party.
Okay, great. So here's what I'm going to do. How you receive Anna's gift is to go to soulwitandwisdom.com. once I complete here, I'll actually put all of her information. She'll be at the top of the page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to link to the summit as well. So I'll put that. I usually put people's just their website, but I'm also going to put a link to the summit because it's fantastic and it is an amazing gift. So thank you so much. I love you. I honor you. I see all of the greatness of myself in you, and I appreciate everything that you brought here today. And thank you so much,
Kristen. So you can see me eye to eye. That trick of a camera. Thank you, first of all, for inviting me, for playing with me, because we get to play back and forth, and we're going to keep playing more and more. Thank you for saying yes to the invitation you got from your soul to do this right now. Yeah.
You're
huge.
Welcome.
Yeah. I've watched the interviews, not all of them, but I've watched quite a few of them. And what you're creating through it is just so needed and so amazing. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. So we'll see you next time. We'll see you tomorrow, which is May 1st. And then we'll see you once a week starting next week. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anna. Bye, guys.
Bye.